and gentlemen, yes, this is your favorite show, Sports Unfolded, with your favorite hosts, Eric and Ron.
Hey, welcome to the best sports podcast anywhere. I am your host, Eric. My main man right over there, Ron. How are you?
I'm doing quite well. Of
I
course,
see that.
I'm live again at the Green on Main in Pawtucket, so I apologize ahead of time just in case.
Yeah, a few little ones running around in the background there. We are a weekly sports podcast. We cover all of the local and nationwide sports stories going on in the world today. We cover so many different things, have so many different followers, so many different platforms. Now excited to be on Kick. So it is a new streaming platform similar to Twitch. Check us out. Follow us on Kick at Rhode Island Broadcasting. Really excited about that addition to the Rhode Island Broadcasting family. So, Ron, with that being said, let's start this show off with some Patriot news and our leadoff story. The New England Patriots have signed running back Ezekiel Elliott this week. Do you think this move moves the needle?
Well,
Kenny
I mean, it
thinks we're
moves the
going to-
needle, but I mean, how far? I mean, I don't think it moves it that much. I mean, when you think about what they have on offense, is it really going to be enough to really move it to the point where they can actually beat out any other team in the AFC
AFC
East?
East. And that's what I say. I think, look, it's a good signing for the Patriots. They needed a depth at running back. This fills a void. I think there's still some gas in the tank. How much is going to be a question. We'll see. Him losing time to Tony Pollard last season definitely affected his numbers. Only had 876 yards, 3.8 yards per carry, which was the lowest in his career.
Yeah, and
That's concerning.
that's the alarming part, right? Because when you think about aging running backs, I mean, that's the first thing to go, right? That average, because then you can't seem to get those legs moving enough at enough times. And so when you start seeing that average yard per carry starting to drop, that is a sign of what you have to look forward to. And I gotta think that they're going to use him sparingly, and I think they're going to use him more towards getting into the end zone.
Yeah, listen, 12 touchdowns, definitely can find the end zone. Something that they struggled with last season. Obviously, we knew the offensive, catastrophe that was Matt Patricia and everything that happened there. But if you look at it, Ramondre Stevenson only had 5 rushing touchdowns last season.
Right.
Zeke had 12.
Right.
So as bad as he was playing, you get him in goal line situations. He can
Exactly.
sniff that line and get over. That's going to be important for the New England Patriots because
that's where I think he's going to shine because okay, he's getting older, all right? So you're going to need that experience just in the knowledge and knowing how to get into that end zone. Okay? So he brings that to the table. So he's going to have that extra oomph, to move the line towards the end zone, and that's what he's going to do because he's not going to play as much as he used to in the past because he's going to be that guy. He's going to be like that Jerome Bettis kind of guy now coming in to just go get that touchdown.
Yeah, and again, incentive-laden contract. So, again, there's incentive for him to play well. They didn't use him enough in the passing game in Dallas last season. Again, Tony Pollard taking a lot of that away from him.
Yeah.
But this is a guy that at one point in his career caught over 70 balls in a season.
Yeah.
New England can use that as a third down back now. It kind of gives them some options. Ramondre Stevenson, who obviously would probably be considered their best offensive player, it gives him some rest as well. So that late in the season now, he's fully healthy.
Right.
That's the win here. The question is, though, Ron, does it move the needle? I don't think it puts them ahead of Miami, Buffalo, or the New York Jets.
No, and the reason being why it doesn't is that receiving core, right? I mean,
exactly. Who's that offensive weapon?
Say what you want about the receivers, okay? You know, the fact that they're counting on a rookie to step up, you know, that is the hope, right? Is that the kid that everybody's talking about is going to have that kind of a season like a Chase. Can it happen? I don't know. But we know that it's not easy to play in New England as a receiver. We know this. We've seen some pretty talented guys come in and not grasp the offense. So we know it is a difficult thing. And for a rookie to come in to try to do it hasn't exactly panned out for the Patriots at all. And we've documented this many times that the Patriots can't draft receivers. And we're just hoping that this is the one that it counts, because if not, then we're going to get a very stagnating offense, and that needle isn't going to budge.
Yeah, Kenny seems to think it will. I'm with you, Ron. I don't think it will. I think there's way too many questions offensively on that side of the ball that you look at what they can do defensively. If you're still unable to throw the ball down the field, you don't have a legitimate wide receiver. Mike Gesicki injured already in training camp. Here was your second option at tight end. So let's see his health and his status going into the season. A lot of questions here with the New England Patriots. I guess, though, we're kind of spoiled because we complained for weeks about them not getting anybody. They finally picked somebody up, and we're complaining about who they picked up. Not the player itself. Not the player itself, but it's not enough for us. I guess that's what I'm saying.
And the thing is, you know, it's like, yeah, everybody wanted Dalvin Cook and blah, blah, blah. Look, I mean, I'm fine with Elliott coming. You know, getting Zeke is really good. That is a great 1-2 punch, right? The problem is the Jets got Dalvin Cook, and that gives them a much better 1-2 punch. You know, so it's like, you know, yeah, it's great, but it didn't do anything because that needle moved further. Yeah, you know, now they're talking about the Jets possibly contending with Buffalo.
So before we move on, let me ask you this. Your expectations, what would be a success story for you with Zeke in New England?
I mean, a success story, if he can punch in those 12 touchdowns, that would be a success for Zeke, you know? And hey, if by chance he gets 1,000 yards, I don't think he can get to 1,000 because I think Stevenson is going to be the main back. So, but if he can get to that 800 again, I mean, that's a success. You know, I mean,
he's out of shape. That's what James says. James, a Cowboy fan. James had to live with Zeke for a few years there. And look, I don't know if it's the shape thing. It might be just the fact that I don't know how motivated he is anymore. He seemed like
I think he's going to be plenty motivated because Dallas didn't want him.
I hope that's what happens. But how many times have we seen this with New England and they try to pick up this guy? It worked with Brady, and we talk about this a lot, and I don't want to keep bringing it up, but you bring in a Corey Dillon who was still very successful, but you bring him in. Everybody said he was a problem child. He came in, Patriot way, rushed for over 1,000 yards, was one of the key factors in the Super Bowl. Randy Moss, everybody said he was done. He went to Oakland because it was Oakland at the time. Didn't look very good. They said he was done. He comes to New England. He became a all-pro again.
Yeah.
So can Zeke maybe rehash some of his old running ways in New England? I don't know. Again, you think about the line Dallas had compared to what New England has. Dallas's offensive line was much better. Yeah. And you're asking a guy who's again, we talked about yards per average lower, the lowest in his career.
Yeah.
Didn't rush for 1,000 yards, and now we expect him behind a worse offensive line to have a better season.
And that was another key that I wanted to stress about, along with the receiving core, is that offensive line isn't exactly a bunch of all-stars back there.
Yeah.
We're not looking at a line that is just going to, be a rock there, and they're not going to be able to push the pile. They're going to get pushed. They're going to get pushed. And, it's, again, we're talking about this team on offense that can't seem to get out of its way because of this and because of that. But when you really start to nail things down, nothing is going to change if the line isn't going to be good.
Yeah.
Nothing will change.
We talk about Bill O'Brien and the impact he has on possibly making this team better. Adrian Clem, offensive line coach, the importance of what he can bring to the table, because right now what we've seen from the backups, not very good.
No.
We'll have to see what tomorrow night looks like and if there's some improvement there. But if this offensive line has any type of injuries, which right now Cole Strange has an injury, Trent Brown, who knows his decision-making and what if he wants to play or not, because right now it doesn't look like he does. They may need some of these guys to step in. And right now, I'm not liking what I'm seeing from the New England Patriots offensive line.
Again, Mac Jones can't have a good season if you can't protect him. He can't have a good season. The receivers won't matter if you can't protect Mac Jones. Simple as that. Every team, when they draft their quarterbacks, right? I mean, we go through this all the time. They draft a quarterback, and what do they do right after? They draft an offensive lineman.
If you're smart,
that's what you do. Did the Patriots do the right things? No. Yes, they got Cole Strange. Yeah, I get it. But they could have got him in the second round, right? They could have got him possibly even in the third. So you didn't draft one of the guys that you should have drafted.
Yeah.
And I like Christian Gonzalez, right? I think he's super talented. But should they have gone for one of those big guys that are just going to, be there to protect your quarterback that's supposed to be your franchise?
Yeah. No, I get it, man. I hear you. Loud and clear. All right. We're going to move on to more NFL talk here. And let's look at the Jets here, who have added running back Dalvin Cook. You had just talked about it. Does this make them the favorite in the AFC East?
I don't know if it makes them the favorite, but it really makes it close, right? I mean, when now you're talking, they have Aaron Rodgers to throw the ball to, all over the place because he likes targeting everybody. And then you throw in Dalvin Cook in that mix to go with Hall.
You got Garrett Wilson. You got some talent on the offensive side of the ball.
There's a lot of talent there. There's a lot of talent.
The biggest problem they have is similar to New England. Their offensive line is just a mess.
Right. And that's the thing that makes me wonder, are they really going to push Buffalo? Can they push Buffalo? If their line doesn't hold up, I'm sorry. Again, if the line doesn't hold up, you're not pushing anybody. You're just going to be pushing up daisies on your season. That's it.
This is why I say, look, the Buffalo Bills are the favorite in the AFC East. They have to be. Their offensive line's strong. They've been together for a while. We've seen teams build teams and not be successful. We're automatically assuming that Aaron Rodgers, as great as he's been, automatically now Garrett Wilson, like they're on the same page. May not be. Breece Hall coming back from an injury. What's that look like? Dalvin Cook just fits in. You just plug and play. Like, it's sometimes not that easy.
No. And with that line, I'm sorry. When you have a bad offensive line, Aaron Rodgers to me isn't the guy that's going to be able to escape that pressure. Aaron Rodgers isn't going to be able to carry, a couple of defensive linemen on his back. Well, Josh Allen is a big guy, and he can do those things. So and he has a pretty decent line, and he's going to be able to be effective. And I don't see them being able to catch the Buffalo Bills. I just don't see it, and I
And
like
everybody
what they're
questioned
doing.
the Bills in their running game. And this is not me being a homer. And I know that's what but Damian Harris was a very quiet pickup for them.
Yeah,
He was very good in New England.
yeah,
He is a back that can handle the load and be effective. And that is now all of a sudden a running game that you have to worry about in Buffalo.
right.
On top of Stephon Diggs, on top of Josh Allen, on top one of the top defenses in the league,
Yeah.
Von Miller coming back from injury. So now their pass rush should be improved. To me, you're still looking at the Buffalo Bills as the favorite in the East.
Right.
The Jets and Miami are going to fight out for the second place.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how I see it. And Miami, it's just a question of whether somebody can stay healthy.
Just a little bit. All right, let's talk a couple more quarterbacks here, Ron. Before we move on, which quarterback in your mind has to prove the most this season, Deshaun Watson or Russell Wilson? Which one needs to have a good season?
Yeah, I thought about this a lot, and and I came down to picking Russell Wilson. And I know, okay, the Deshaun Watson contract is massive, right? It's massive. There's a lot of expectations. But when you really think about it, the only people that are expecting greatness is the Cleveland fans. Nobody else is thinking that they're going to be good. I don't think there's anybody. But there's a lot of people across the NFL world that said Russell Wilson back then was top 3 quarterbacks, if we're not mistaken, right? One of the top 3. I never put him in that category. I don't think he was, but there's a lot of pressure on him right now because he had a miserable season, and a lot of it was his fault. I don't think he was as prepared that he needed to be, and he just took the money and basically went home with it.
So both gentlemen think Deshaun Watson has to have it. I'm going to agree with you, Ron. And it's because of the fact that, listen, Deshaun Watson's contract's guaranteed. The Browns really can't get rid of him.
No.
They're stuck with him. So even if he stinks, nobody's taking that contract. They can't move on from him. If they cut him, they got to pay him his entire salary. They're going to ride this out.
Yeah.
So the one that has the most pressure right now is Russell Wilson, because they brought in a new coach for you, an offensive guru, a guy that supposedly it can straighten you out and turn you into a Drew Brees 2.0, whatever you're going to call it.
Yep.
If you can't make this work now with this guy, you can't blame the coaching now. You can't blame the dysfunction of the team, because he knows what he's doing.
Eric, as far as this, if he doesn't succeed this year in Denver, he's done.
I think so.
He is done.
He may be a backup. Imagine that Russell Wilson as a backup in just how much time? What's he been in the league? 10 plus years? A little bit over 10 years?
Yeah.
It's gone pretty quick.
Look, and I'll tell you, he's been a different guy since that interception. We'll just say that.
Yeah, but I will say this too. Think about it. Seattle bounced right back.
Yeah.
They bounced right back and became a playoff team.
So what does that tell you? It's like it. Look, Russell Wilson, I'm not saying he wasn't a good quarterback. I just don't think he was much better than above average.
I agree with you. I think that defense he had in Seattle, the Legion of Boom.
Oh, my God. That
was the reason why they got to the Super Bowl.
That's why they got there.
Yeah, it wasn't Russell Wilson. He helped them get along. He was a dynamic player that we hadn't seen, and we know what he is now. Yeah. And sometimes that's a curse more than a blessing. But Ron, it is time for the starting 5. This one was a fun one.
Yeah, it was.
Hopefully James did his homework as well, because last week, so we need our starting 5 players named Eric. and you could spell it with the C or the K. The right way is the C, by the way,
Or the C and K.
or the CK, but I don't like it. So, Ron, you are first this week.
I am first this week.
You are. Odd
that's
week,
bad news.
odd numbers. But can you give me your honorable mentions?
All right, my honorable mentions. I had a pile of them.
Yeah, and I did the same thing, and I was like, I felt bad because I'm like, I'm going overboard, I think. But go ahead. What do you got?
Okay, so first of all, I didn't have any baseball players
At all?
In the top 5.
Oh, okay.
But I had Eric Gagne.
Okay.
I had Eric Davis. Remember
Yeah.
him?
Oh, yeah, from Cincinnati.
Yes.
Yes.
He was good.
He was.
And he was like right there for me.
Agreed.
And Eric Chavez.
Yes.
who
Yeah,
not
from
only
the
was
Oakland
good in the
A's.
back, but defensively,
4 gold gloves, I believe. 4
I
gold
thought it
gloves.
was 6.
Six.
but
6. You might be right. 6.
You may be right, and I may be crazy.
If loving you is wrong, I don't want to be right, Ron.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So I also had Eric Stahl.
Okay.
In the
Yeah.
NHL.
Yep. Yep.
He's had a great career.
He's one of my honorable mentions.
And Eric Metcalf.
I had Eric Metcalf, right? You think about the backs now with that third down, the receiving backs. He's kind of started that.
Yeah.
He was that guy. 541 receptions in his career.
If he was in the league today, oh my God. He'd be one of the top players.
Yeah. Yeah.
One of the top players.
All right. I got a couple more honorable mentions. Eric Berry. He was a Kansas City Chiefs safety, ended up having cancer, was out for a while. Comeback player of the year. Thought that was a really good one. Eric Carlson, hockey player, 3 Norris trophies, 5-time All-Star. This one was
I tend to not put the guys that are still playing.
I got
for the most part.
Because there's still more to go, but
yeah.
This one I did for James, my man James. Hopefully you're still on. Eric Crouch, and not because of his pro career, because his pro career wasn't anything, but his 2001 Heisman Trophy, 2-time Big 12 Offensive Player of the Year. The man was great in college.
Yeah, he was.
Pros, he stunk.
He stunk in the NFL.
Eric Liddell, he was Olympic. From 1924. He won a gold and a bronze. Eric Allen, that great cornerback from Philadelphia, 54 interceptions, 8 touchdowns, 6 Pro Bowls, a defensive player of the year. So you think about the players we left off. Eric Chanteau. Eric Chanteau, swimmer, 5 golds, 2 silvers, 3 bronze in competition. I left him off my top 5. Yeah. And this one hurt because I was trying so hard to get him in. Eric Weddle. 1,179 tackles, 29 interceptions, 6-time Pro Bowl, 2-time All-Pro, and he got that championship with the Rams. They brought him in as a late pickup for the Super Bowl because of an injury, so he got a championship. But there's some great honorable mentions. So it's going to be hard to see who these top 5 are.
Yeah. I mean, there was so many. And I wish I could find my list, but that would be nice. It has
that kind of helps for this segment. You know that, right?
You know, it's like I have all my stats and I can't find them now.
Oh, boy. James, if you're on, your top 5 as we go.
So,
Ron, you're number 5.
Look, my number 5, I have Eric Lindros. I mean, he was so talented, Eric. Like this guy,
he would have been the Gretzky without if they injured. And I'm not, but he could have been that kind of caliber player.
And it wasn't even, look, it was a lot of concussion problems.
Yeah, it killed his career. It was a shame.
And that did it. That did him in. Yeah, because the concussions just was a constant problem for him.
Yes,
and it got to the point where it was affecting his play. Then the back came into play, with the back problems. And, it was a lot of injuries. But the guy scored goals. He was so talented. And it's really a shame that that he did have all those injury problems because he could have been, one of the best.
Yeah, I agree. You listen, I'm going to give you one of these. Because also at number 5, I had Eric Lindros. And again, it was because I started to look at Stahl and I looked at some of the other hockey guys, and I went off sheer pure talent of what he would have been. And
Yeah.
he was so talented, and the injuries derailed his career. But 865 points in his career, so
Yeah.
nothing to shake your head at.
Hey,
Plus
plus 200 and something.
215.
Yeah, I can't find my numbers.
Plus
so I don't have my
215.
numbers in anything right now because I must have left it in
Rut-row.
somewhere else.
Rut-row.
Outside the studio.
So number 4?
So number 4, I do have Eric Weddle.
Okay.
You know,
And I could see it. Absolutely.
I know, you know, look, he had a Super Bowl, you know, and there was a bunch of.
But you think about that Super Bowl run. He came out of retirement.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
he haven't played. He played in the Super Bowl. Like
yeah.
I think that
he was good
for the Super Bowl. Yes.
And he was good. And, you know, I believe it was like 45 interceptions or something like that.
29.
From that. 29?
Yeah. 6-time Pro Bowl. So 29. 2-time All-Pro.
2-time All-Pro. Okay. So, you know, look, he was a solid player and he was consistent.
Yep.
Very consistent.
Agreed.
And, you know, there's those players that, you know, when they have like a couple of good years, you know, and he did have those couple of good years.
He was dominant with the San Diego Chargers.
But it was like a constant, you know, every game. He was a factor every game.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
Agreed.
And I could have probably flip-flopped my 4 with Weddle, but I went Gagne. And I went Gagne again. The same thing when we think about there was a short period of time where he was the most dominant closer in the game.
Dominating, yes.
187 saves. He won a Cy Young. He was a 3-time All-Star, 2-time Rolaids Relief Pitcher of the Year, and a 1-time champion. So I went Gagne at 4.
Yeah. No, I mean, I can see that. And that's, you know, it was like, I had my top 3. I knew my top 3. And then there was like 4 through like 9 that I'm like, oh my God, who am I going to put in?
Yeah, I got tough.
Because I went back and forth with like Gagne, Eric Davis, Eric Metcalf.
Yeah.
There was a couple others that I actually had like Lindell as a potential guy that I was going to put in there too.
Agreed with the medals. Yeah.
So, I mean, there was a lot of, I was like, my head is still hurting from it.
This was a good one. At 3, who do you got?
Number 3, I have Eric Cantona, soccer player from the English Premier League.
Yeah.
I wish I could give you his numbers, but I don't have any of those numbers handy, and I don't know what I did with them.
I don't have his numbers currently with me.
But oh wait, here it is. Wait, I have everybody but his. Oh no, here it is. 69 goals in the English Premier League in 156 matches. So it's like one every 2 point something or other. But 4 Premier League championships and 2 Players of the Year.
Wow.
So I mean, this guy was good. Look, Pele came out and said that he was the best player that was still alive. Whatever that means, you know, in order for him to say it, he had to be still alive, right?
Yeah.
So he included him in this.
Wow.
So you got to be good, and he probably the best French player of all time, I would think. You know, I would probably go there. So that's who I put at there. So Brian, if you're watching, I'm up.
Just for kicks.
Up on my soccer.
Just for kicks. At 3, I had boxer Eric Morales.
Yes,
52-9, 36 knockouts in his career. He was a 4-time champion, first Mexican boxer ever, 4 different weight classes. Eric Morales, and I remember him. And it was, you know, him, Pacquiao. We talked about Manny Pacquiao.
Right.
These guys were considered pound for pound some of the best fighters in the world. I went Eric Morales at 3.
That's a good one. That's a really good one. Number 2, well, the number 1 and 2 were clear for me. It wasn't clear who was going to be number 1.
Yep, agreed.
But it was clear that they were both going to be 1 and 2.
I surprised myself as well with my number 1 and 2.
Number 2, I have Eric Dickerson.
I can't believe it. I also had Eric Dickerson at 2.
Yeah, I looked at it. Look, this guy was great. You know, 90 touchdowns,
Yep.
6 Pro Bowls, 5-time All Pro.
Pro.
So 5 times he's the best running back in the league, right?
Yeah.
That's what you're saying.
Insane.
You know, he just did it all. He did it all.
Smooth, man. Smooth.
Yeah.
Such a smooth runner. Like Barry Sanders, my all-time favorite running back.
Right.
But he was shifty, just the things he could do, the way.
Without Eric Dickerson, there's no Barry Sanders.
Yeah, but you think about it. Eric Dickerson was just smooth, man. When he ran, you were just like, it looked like he was gliding. It wasn't even.
It's
right?
like, is
he was
he even trying?
Yeah, like I don't know. So Eric
And yet
Dickerson
he
is very good.
scores the touchdowns, right?
Yeah.
You know,
13,259 rushing yards in his career.
yeah, 4.4 per carry.
Yeah,
That's
phenomenal.
pretty good.
That is good.
That's pretty good. So it was an easy decision to put him in the top 2. You know, they were just amazing. You know, at the top 2 and number 1. I mean, you know me with the Olympians.
Yeah. Yes.
I had to go with the speed skater Eric Heiden.
Ooh.
5 Olympic gold medals, 3 world all-around champion with a silver to go along with that, and 4 world sprint championship golds to go along with that. So when you put all those golds together, that's 12 with a silver. 12 golds with
crazy.
A silver.
Amazing.
I mean, he is one of the best United States Olympians of all time.
Yeah. No, that's a great one.
One of the best.
That is a phenomenal one. I actually went Michael Lesser. Eric Lesser.
Michael.
I'm Michael. I was thinking Michael Phelps when you said Eric Lesser. Who's Eric Lesser? German biathlete.
Yeah.
5 golds, 6 silvers, 5 bronze in his career. That's 16 total medals he won in competition.
Yeah.
I had to put him at 1.
That's good. That's good. That's a good one. You know, I mean, it just goes to show, you know, there was so many, you know, and he should have been in my top 3, definitely.
Yeah.
Probably would have put him at number 2.
Yeah.
And you missed Eric Heiden.
Yeah, I did.
So we both missed one there.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's great. Great list. These are fun. I want to try something different though, Ron, next week. Instead of picking a name, let's pick a position. Like, what do you think? Let's go. Your starting 5.
Wait, a position? Oh, okay.
Pick a sport. You pick a sport. I'll let you pick the sport.
All right. Well, it's baseball season, so let's go baseball. We'll give some love to baseball. I don't know why, but
all right. Let's do something a little. Let's go. Your starting 5 second baseman.
I was going to say second base too.
See, let's do it.
Starting 5 second baseman.
So it could be any name, right? Obviously, but they have to play starting.
Pokey Reese.
Kenny came at Eric Dickerson at 5. What? Eric
Reese.
Allen, Eric Gordon, his numbers. He only averaged 16 points.
Come on.
Eric Bledsoe at 1. Eric Bledsoe at 1. Kenny, we got to get you some help.
Wow, that's a terrible list, Kenny. That's terrible.
Eric Spoelstra's not a player. You can't count guys that haven't played. You got to follow the rules here. All right, so next week, Kenny, your starting second baseman. Your starting second baseman, top 5. 5, you're starting 5, okay?
How do you not have Eric Dickerson on this list?
He does at 5, Ron. 5.
Oh, yeah, he is at 5. All right.
5. What? Eric Gordon and Eric Bledsoe definitely not ahead of Eric Dickerson.
They weren't even on my honorable mentions.
Kenny he's I don't know sometimes. I don't know. But Kenny, thank you for chiming in. And we're going to talk some basketball now, so I'm glad you're on because we want to talk about the Boston Celtics and
boy, here we go.
Kristaps Porzingis. So he's going to miss the FIBA World Cup tournament with an injury, plantar fasciitis. How concerned?
What is it?
Plantar fasciitis.
Plantar fasciitis? What is that?
I don't know, a bone in your foot or something.
Oh, he just doesn't want to plant himself on a couch.
Oh boy. How concerned are you right now as a Boston Celtics fan?
Well, about this
Scale from 1 to 10. How's that, Ron?
a 9. A 9.
A 9. I could see that. I'm
Like,
agreeing.
I don't. Well, first of all, he has injury history. But this is a new one.
I think Kenny's definitely on. Kenny's definitely drinking some good stuff tonight. He's got to be. He has got to be. How many shots deep are you in right now, Kenny?
Oh, I forgot somebody on that honorable mention, and we have to say it.
Oh, go ahead.
Eric Esch.
Okay.
You know who Eric Esch is?
I do not.
Butterbean.
Butterbean. Okay. All right.
I had to make that.
Right. He was talk about a niche. He found it.
Yeah.
He did. Tim Duncan, Christoph Porzingis is not, but good try, Kenny. I like it.
it. No, this is very concerning because this just goes to show you, look, he's going to be injured a lot. I hate to tell Boston fans this, but only expect him in the lineup, half the time. Half the time. If you're lucky.
I'm going to tell you what's pissing me off about this whole thing.
It seems made up.
So they're already talking about load management for him. And I'm like, wait a minute. You got rid of the heart and soul of this team and Marcus Smart to make this move, to make you better, to now not have this guy play. You hope you get 60 games out of him during the regular season, what they're talking about. 60 games. And then there's no guarantee he's going to be okay for the playoffs now. Because, again, this is an injury that doesn't really go away. This could take up to a year to heal properly, is what they're saying. So he's projected to be ready for training camp or at least the start of the season. I'm at a 9, maybe 9.5, Ron, because you don't have this guy 75 to 90% of the time playing during the regular season.
Yeah.
You're losing a major piece now. He was supposed to be that replacement for Marcus Smart. And now you don't have it. So you're going off of Tatum Brown, and then who's your third best guy? Derek White? Robert Williams? Like who? What are they?
Look,
they are in so much trouble with this.
Eric, this is what I was saying. It's like, yes, okay. If you make the trade, as long as you get another guy to take Marcus Smart's spot, that's all fine and dandy. But you're not
5 times.
You're not doing that, and taking away the heart of the team to replace it with somebody that doesn't even really care if he plays or not.
He better be really good at this, Ron, because it seems like he's going to be their best bench applause player on the team, because he's going to
be a towel waiver,
right? Like he's just going to. I cannot believe this is where we're at already. The season hasn't even started.
It's not a surprise.
Season hasn't started. He's already hurt.
Yeah, it's not a surprise. I don't know why people are
there to help Al Horford. Al Horford's supposed to be the guy you're giving less time to, not the guy you just brought in, signed for $90 million.
Right.
To say now, we're going to make him a part-time player. Al Horford's supposed to spell Porzingis now is the way it's supposed to work. Al is not your third best player.
Can you spell Porzingis?
Porginzis.
Well, you forget the Z.
Z. I said Zis. Zing.
Oh, I heard G in there.
There is a G in there.
Porzingis.
Porzingis. Porzingis. Right? Calm down. Hashtag NBA guy. NBA guy, you're off. Whatever, Kenny, you still haven't given me your shot count. How many shots deep are you right now? Because you first of all compared Porzingis to Tim Duncan. You got Eric Dickerson at number 5 on the starting 5 Erics. I don't even know what you're talking about right now, but you cannot tell me you're not at a 9.5 on this Porzingis injury, knowing that your point is Al Horford. If Al Horford is your starting big man, you know the results. We've seen it.
Look, it's this simple, Eric. Kenny, forget the championships. Forget it. It's not happening.
You know what's not walking?
Celtics are going to get bounced out in the first round.
He's 7 shots in. I knew it. So I will say this. You know what's not walking through that door, Kenny? Another banner, because they just blew this. Now you pissed me off. Now I'm pissed. Go ahead, Ron. Keep going. Because
no. This is what I'm saying. Like, this team is primed to get upset in the first round. It is primed. Okay. First of all, they couldn't beat Miami, who clearly didn't have the talent that the Celtics had. And you know that problem with the ticker, right? They're going to have a bigger problem with that ticker. And half the players are going to be sitting on the bench because they can't get into the game because they're too hurt. But they're too hurt all the time.
Yeah. Hashtag NBA guy. Let me ask you this question, Kenny. What is the biggest factor for a team to be successful? It's called chemistry. If they're not going to play together for the majority of the season because this guy's got to sit for X amount of games, Al's got to sit for X amount of games, then you're going to try to get into a playoff series, and these guys are going to try to figure it out then at the end of the year. This is what's going to kill this team, is the fact that they didn't get a guy that they can count on for 65 to 70 games in the regular season.
How many games did Joker play during the regular season?
I'm pretty sure it's close to 80.
This is the point I'm making. Your guys have to play. If you don't play, you're not making, the championships. You're just not.
Was that 7 shots for Jaylen Brown, by the way? Healthy, we have to stay healthy. Exactly. And your guys already hurt.
Yeah.
If that's the key, Kenny, and you're right, and Porzingis already hurt, already out. And already worrying about it.
Look, this is what pisses me off about most of the Boston teams, right? This is what pisses me off because they keep signing guys that are always hurt, a.k.a. the Boston Red Sox, right? They keep going after these guys that are always hurt, always hurt.
You gotta let the
it
sale
doesn't
thing
help
go,
if you're not in the goddamn lineup.
You got to let the sale thing go.
No, I'm not.
Been a lot of
haven't
years.
watched the Red Sox game all year because I can't stomach them.
I don't. I'm disgusted with this because all I keep looking at is Marcus Smart now and going, as bad as he was, at least he played. He was on the court.
You remember my future prospects.
I said,
watch, he's going to drop all kinds of numbers on them.
And I said the same thing. I said, I got them going to the Western Conference Finals. Memphis will go to the Western Conference Finals because of Marcus Smart. Because he's got heart, dude. And then you get Ja back halfway through the year, and the rest is, I'm telling you, he'll be shooting right out of the gate.
I don't know.
Oh, that was a bad Ja joke. No, nothing on that. I thought it was fun.
Hey, we've come out firing on all the guns. They're
all right. Firing. You know what? You know what, Ron? I think we're going to move on from this story and go into an even better story.
Oh, yeah, this is much better.
We got to create a new segment called Dirt Bags of Sports and just have a segment on Dirt Bag because it seems like we get a lot of those. So Wander Franco has been placed on the restricted list by the Tampa Bay Rays, which means he couldn't travel with the team during their recent road trip. Is his career over? I'm not sure you know about the scandal. We will fill people in right now. There is accusations that he has been involved with a 14-year-old girl in the Dominican Republic. They are actually carrying on a relationship. I guess she may have wanted some money. He signed a big deal, $11 million, 11-year. I think it was like $180 million deal. And now she's basically come out and outed him. And there was some pictures, Ron, that actually came out. And they're saying that isn't even the girl that the allegations are about because there's more than one underage girl that he's been involved with. Is his career done in the MLB?
It's looking like it. Look, when Tampa Bay didn't hold anything back and start dropping him from lineups, there's a problem. And I know like the timeline thing here, they had him play and then they didn't have him play and then they brought him and then they didn't bring. So there's a lot of confusion right now with with what is Major League Baseball's stance on this. Now, I'm sure that Major League Baseball will do the right thing, right?
Oh, yes. Yeah. Oh, they're really good about it. I can't see a team wanting to put this on their roster now, though. That's the problem. So the key was, I think the way that he got outed was that on his playlist, it was all R. Kelly songs. So they kind of already no, nothing on that one either. But I will say this. There is obviously serious allegations.
Hey, you're taking a right step in the name of love.
Yes. Step in the name of love. It's a good song, though.
It is.
But I will say this. The kid was a talent on the baseball field. But this, to me, it's going to live with him for the rest of his life. You're not getting away from this. And I don't think, even if, listen, the key, though, is Major League Baseball contract's guaranteed. So what happens? Do they just give him his money? Like, how does that work? There must be some out clauses if you get arrested or charged.
I don't think they have any of those clauses because the Major League Baseball
Players Association
union is a lot stronger than any other league.
Yeah. So it's going to be, listen, he was batting 281, 17 home runs, 58 RBIs. He's 22 years old. The kid had a bright future ahead of him. All-star this year. I'm shocked in the aspect that if it was one and maybe you got catfished and she said she was 18, like it could have happened. But if there's multiple, now it's starting like you're looking for it. Like you went out and you looked for this. And again, I don't know him, so I'm not. But I will say the legal consent age in the Dominican Republic, I did look this up, is 18. So she is underage. And then he's obviously facing statutory rape charges at this point.
Oh, yeah. And I think they probably have him.
You know, it's insane. Like, I don't understand how these athletes think it's not going to come out at some point.
Who knows? We talk about this all the time, Eric, with these athletes that don't you see what's going on? Don't you see the other players that are getting into trouble? Why are you putting yourself in these same positions? It makes no sense. And all it can mean to me is that these players' egos are so big, so like they just think they are immune to everything. And there comes a point in time where, enough's enough.
Yeah.
And right now, when you have the lawmakers now really coming down on famous people, I mean, that's if Senor Trump can get,
hey, come on, there's only a few indictments. Stop.
91 of them.
It's not. That's it. They're trying to get to 100.
But what I'm saying is, like, if he can be,
if anybody
under fire, then nobody is untouchable.
We've seen society change where before you'd see these athletes, actors, get away with things, and you go, I don't understand. Like you get arrested 15,000 times for drunk driving, but never get like go to jail, and it just kept. You're not seeing that as much anymore.
No,
because people understand now that it's not just a slap on the wrist. Like there's consequences to this, and you would think a kid at 22 finally made it. Finally got that big contract, you would have learned that I need to make sure that I'm doing the right things.
And it's the sponsors that are dictating all of this, right? Because you think somebody from one of those soda companies or beer companies want to be associated with someone that does these things? No. Yeah. So when you start losing sponsors,
Yeah, hopefully, right? Drink responsibly, legal age is 21, and this guy's over here with 14-year-olds.
If Tampa Bay doesn't do the right thing, they're going to lose sponsors, and those sponsors will certainly come our way.
Yeah, we're so close. I can smell it, Ron. Ron, I don't know how old your girlfriend is. My wife's much older than 14. I'm all right. I'm pretty good. I think I'll be all right. You can trust us here at Sports Unfolded. All right, my friend, it is time for our future prospects. one future prospect, we could probably both say that Wander Franco is probably going to jail for a little bit. But we digress from this.
He'll be somebody's prospect, that's for sure.
So a future prospects segment. Basically, we went into our time machine, went forward to see what we could find out for our fans out there, and we bring it back to you. So we are going so far ahead, Ron. Let's go, my friend, and let me know what your time machine brought you to this week.
Well, I went, as far as, the end of the regular season for the NFL.
Okay.
And I saw
You saw
that Zeke will have more touchdowns than Dalvin Cook this year.
Bro, this is a first on Sports Unfolded.
No.
I went and I found out that Ezekiel Elliott will have more rushing yards than Dalvin Cook as well.
Oh, snap.
What are the odds of that?
Wow, that's pretty good.
Our time is, we didn't bump into each other. I'm surprised.
I'm surprised, yeah.
But more touchdowns and more rushing yards for Ezekiel Elliott this upcoming season over Dalvin Cook.
Were you the guy that they were having a problem with out in the lobby area?
Listen. I wanted to continue. I wanted to beat Kenny's record of 7 shots. They wouldn't let me do it.
So it was you. So we would have bumped into each other, but
yeah, they kind of threw me out. Yeah, they threw me out. You're number 2.
All right. So my number 2 is, well, you know how Jonathan Taves is stepping away.
Yeah.
He's not stepping away. He's still going to train, and he is going to get picked up mid-season by a contender, most likely the New York Rangers.
They didn't learn.
And he's going to sign with them for the remainder of the season to get one last crack at, the Lord Stanley Cup.
Okay.
So he will return, and he will play half the season.
All right. I like it. My time machine told me to tell you that Damian Lillard, as much as they've talked about it, will not be traded next season. They cannot work out a deal with Miami. Miami is not going to just take a bag of beans and see if it grows into a beanstalk. Damian Lillard will remain a Portland Trailblazer next season and play out that contract.
Good. I hope he rots there too.
Wow.
I'm sorry. How are you going to dictate to anybody? I want to be traded and I want to go to Miami. You know what? Tough. I would send him to Orlando is what I would do.
Like us.
I think you're close.
Be like us. Ron, you don't think Ron's the man to
drive to Miami?
Ron wanted to go in what's the other show there? Undisputed. No, what is it? Undisputed on Fox? What is the stupid show with Skip Bayless? I can't stand him at all.
I think it is Undisputed.
Right? And Ron wanted to try to get traded there. You know what I told him? You're under contract here, buddy. You live out your Sports Unfolded contract. Period. That's how we work it here. You don't just get to decide where you want to go. And by the way, that show's trash. If you watch that show and you don't watch us, you don't know what you're missing. Because I'm telling you right now, that show is absolute garbage. Skip Bayless is a moron. You can tell him I said it. But I digress. We move on. Yeah, call him up. Can you? Yeah.
Skip, go
Speed dial. Thank you, Kenny. Thank you for the applause. Let's move on to some NHL, Ron, and we're going to talk about free agent Jonathan Taves. You said it. Has decided to take some time off from hockey.
I've been spoiling all of our segments.
So you believe he's coming back to the NHL? Obviously, he's had a really solid career, in Chicago. Why do you think he's stepping away then? What do you think the reasoning behind it? Because they picked up a lot of talent, got the number 1 pick. They look like Chicago's rebuilding now, and they're on a good pace or path to be back into the playoffs. Why would he step away?
Yeah, so this is what my best guess is. First of all, I don't think he would get paid what he wants to get paid. That's going to be number 1. Number 2 is I think he really wants to know if Chicago is going to be improved.
So do you think he's stepping away? But if they're better, then he goes back to
He
Chicago?
may come back to Chicago. Yes, I think he doesn't want to say, okay, it's over, and then have to go through all that, like the circus that has happened in the past with athletes, right? So he doesn't want to do that. So he's just going to take some time, and this way he can come in mid-season, sign with somebody that really needs a quality center like he is, and make a push for the playoffs, right? So if Chicago is in a playoff spot, he'll come back and sign with Chicago. I don't think that's going to happen. So I think he's going to have to sign with somebody else and do that playoff push with someone else and then see what happens from there.
35 years old. Obviously, there's some tread on those tires that are worn out. Could be a possibility. Look, let my body get healed up more for the grind of the back half for the season.
And that's what I wish that maybe Bergeron would have done. But
yeah, I will say this: 15-year career with Chicago so far, 372 goals, 511 assists, a plus 148 for his career. He's won an Art Ross, a Smythe, a Selke, a Messier, a one-time All-Star, 3 cups. 3 cups. Yeah. So, again, to your point, maybe he wants to go out on top or try to go out on top, and he may look for the best option at that point. But, again, here's these things, though, that disappoint me sometimes. And this is the one knock that I still, even though he's on my back there, and I still love him as a New England Patriot, that I think tarnishes careers. I'm going to continue to say that. When guys leave, like he's been there for 15 years. He was drafted by Chicago. He's won 3 cups with them. To see him just maybe sit back, to your point, and make a decision on where can I go to try to win, I would be disappointed, because I think it also hurts your legacy a little bit, just a little bit. It tarnishes.
Yeah, and that's the thing about Bergeron, right? When you compare players, like Taves and Bergeron will always be compared to each other because they're that kind of a player, where they're great offensively and defensively. They do all the intangibles. I mean, every one of them. The leadership qualities. And Bergeron made it a point to let everybody know that, if I play, I'm playing for Boston. Made everybody aware of it. Yeah. He is playing for Boston. So a lot of places he wasn't even listed as a free agent because they knew that he would either sign with Boston or he was done.
Yeah.
And and that's the respect that Bergeron demands, in his behavior, not just telling people this is what,
No, I love it.
And Taves is the same player, but now he seems to not know what to do at this stage of his career. And that is always the tough part. And it might not even be his decision, because we don't know, what Chicago is doing. We don't know what Chicago Blackhawks are saying as a franchise. So there's none of that. And Taves isn't going to be a guy that just blows them up if they are saying they don't want him.
Yeah. I don't know. It just we'll see how that turns out.
Like you have to wait and see what he's going to do and why he does it.
Yeah. Let's move on to another player. We'll bring him up, and I'll give you a moment to wipe the tears and to give you some time, because another Boston Bruin has officially retired, and that's David Krejci. I guess the question I'm going to ask you, Ron, are you okay? Do you want to continue? You want to stop the show now? You're good? Okay. I will ask you this, though. What does this mean for the Boston Bruins? What does this say about the Boston Bruins?
Well, first of all, it says that they had a lot of aging guys that, you relied on. And, there's so many question marks on who's going to replace, these 2 guys in the middle of the ice. I myself I'm not really broken up about Krejci, to be honest with you. I mean, I think he's a great player.
1,032 games for the Boston Bruins.
Yes.
231 goals, 555 assists, a plus 166 in his career. Not even phased, Ron.
It's just I knew he was going to be done.
Yeah, I mean, he did
I
make the
knew
comeback.
he was retiring.
Yep. 16 seasons with the Bruins. It was
But
long enough.
I don't think his numbers. I don't think his numbers were as good this past season
Yeah,
as what they
16 goals,
should have
40
been.
assists,
Look, when
56
you're
points.
playing on a line with Pasternak, you should have more points. I'm sorry, you should have more points. It should be he should have had 80, 90 points being on the side of Pasternak this year. Pasternak was just tremendous
Yeah.
everywhere.
Hmm.
He was unstoppable, and he barely played basically with Bergeron and Marchand this year. So that perfection line was not really a factor at all. And I think his numbers should have been better. I think he's obviously a lot slower than he has been in the past because he is older, and I think it was ready. He was ready to hang it up.
Yeah. So I will agree with you on that part of it. I think he was ready. But to me, this is a clear indication that most of these players realize that this team cannot achieve what they ultimately want to get to, and that's a Stanley Cup.
I don't think that was a factor.
I think that's why Patrice retired. I think that's why Krejci retired. I think they realized, look, we had our chance. You win 65 games in a regular season, and you lose in the first round. There is a great opportunity to win the Stanley Cup, and you blew it. You're not going to have that same opportunity again. So I truly think that's what the organization has shifted into a place where, look, they're going to be contenders to at least make the playoffs. But if they make the playoffs, there's not a huge hope that they're going to be successful in those playoffs.
Yeah, see, I don't know. I just think that their time was now. I think Bergeron could have played another year or two, and still be effective. But I think Bergeron, look, I think the concussion thing with Bergeron, like I think that injury at the end of the season, I think that's what it was. And I think that he's like, well, I want to be able to be alert for the rest of my life. And he's had quite a few concussions. And I think that's what ultimately made the decision to retire. Now, Krejci was just older, and I think he just needed to stop playing now.
Listen, the fact that he came back last season, even that was questionable at the beginning.
Right.
They weren't sure he was going to come back. So there was some doubt of him even returning. I think he did it to make the final run.
I think the Bruins organization pitched him on it, and they said, look, we're going to try to do everything we can to win this season. Can you play one more year for us? And he did that, and, just the results weren't what we wanted.
Yeah.
And that is basically, that's really unfortunate because they had the best team in the league.
They did. Great career. Congratulations, Krejci. Enjoy your next endeavor. Will he go back? Do you think he's going to play for the Czechs?
No,
Czech
he's
Republic?
not.
You think he's done with hockey altogether?
He's retiring. I believe it is in North Carolina.
Okay. Wow. Okay. All right, Ron. It is time for our pick and roll.
It's time for pick and roll.
So tonight's pick and roll, these players were all drafted in 1990, so 33 years ago. And when they were selected, obviously they became some of the best players in the league. And that would be Jaromir Jagr, Martin Brodeur, Keith Tkachuk, Owen Nolan, and Petra Nedved. So we are going to rank Peter Nedved, right?
Yeah.
We are going to rank them from 5 to 1. You are first this week, my friend. So would you be able to start us off at number 5? Your pick and roll.
Oh, well, number 5, I had to go with Peter Nedved from the Vancouver Canucks for the most part. Oh my God. I can't. So 310 goals, 407 assists. He was a minus 21 for his career.
Yep.
I mean, that it really didn't indicate how he played. He was a really good player, but that was when Vancouver really was not a good team. They didn't have a whole lot of good players there, but he was certainly one of them, and it's too bad that he didn't really, get any accolades.
Yeah, none.
But
Not a
but
single
that
award.
is those are solid numbers. 707 points. I mean, that's a great career. It's just unfortunate that he just never got really anybody to play alongside of him.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
Number 4, Owen Nolan. Now that's a guy that was just pure talent. I mean, he played for 19 years or so, and again, 422 career goals. You know, that was fantastic. 1,200 games played. I mean, this guy, another guy that just like played lights out. I mean,
Yeah.
he was all out. 885 points in the 1,200 games. 53 game winners. Again, minus 40 though.
Yeah.
And you'll look at those numbers. It's like, how did he get all those numbers and just not do it?
Yeah.
But when you look at the teams, it's like San Jose, back in when they first started out, then Quebec and Colorado, Toronto, Minnesota, Phoenix, Calgary. They were bad
That's
teams.
yeah.
So it's like they just sign, one guy and they just hope that he can carry them. And you just can't go to franchises that just don't want to help you.
Yeah. Agreed.
And that's the problem. He never really had a winning situation. So, but it does not stop the talent that he was. And, but they couldn't match up to the other 3 guys that,
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. Yeah.
I mean, when you look at the numbers of these guys, I mean, it's just amazing. Keith Kachuk, I have at number 3. I mean, number 3, 538 goals, and he's number 3. The sad part is this guy is only a 2-time All-Star.
Yeah.
I don't know how. I don't understand how you can only be a 2-time All-Star with 538 goals scored.
Over 1,065 points in his career.
Yeah, 33 plus 33. 72 game winners. I mean, this guy was just an absolute menace. He was so tough. I mean, his mouth ran a mile a minute, but his fist backed it up every step of the way.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, you score goals like that, and it's hard not to be recognized when you're Kachuk.
Yeah.
And that's a hell of a thing. But number 2 was absolutely Jaromir Jagr in my eyes. I mean, 766 career goals, 1155 assists. He was a plus 322 for his career.
Nuts.
And this man is still playing in
Yeah. Yeah, he owns his own team, right? Plays for his own team.
Yeah. 2-time cup winner, 5 Art Ross trophies, 1 Hart, 3 Pearson, 1 Masterson, and 8 All-Stars. This guy is one of the greatest players of all time.
Agreed.
And he has that All-Star mullet to go along with it.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does.
He still has the mullet too.
Yes, he does. That's a good one.
But number 1, look, it has to start with goaltending. That is the most important part of the game. And Brodeur certainly was top 2 in my book. I put him behind Patrick Roy as the best goaltender of all time. But his numbers say that he could be the best with 691 career wins, 125 shutouts, 2.24 goals against average with a .912 save percentage and those saves were timely. A lot of timely saves. 3-time Cup winner. He won a Calder Trophy as the goaltender, which is very rare. 7-time All-Star. 5 Jennings for the best goaltender. 4 Vesna as well. Like, this guy is one of the best in the business. Any time you have him, you have a shot.
Yeah.
And he had to be number one because of the goaltender being that much importance.
Okay, I'm going to give you one of these again. Because this has happened again, my friend. I had the exact same list, and for a lot of the reasons you said, I was debating on 2 and 1 with Yager and Broder, but then I looked at 691 times you helped your team win.
Yeah.
And then you look at a 2.24 goals against and a 912 save percentage.
Right.
Those are pretty stout numbers. Seeing the fact that you played well over 1,000 games in your career.
Yep. And when you look at 125 of those brick walls in front of the net that he didn't let anything in.
Amazing, dude. It's amazing. So
and you think about the era he plays in, right? You know,
because it was Gretzky and them, right?
Gretzky,
It was still,
Lemieux,
yeah. And he's still to put up those numbers, to stand out amongst the, some of the greatest scorers of all time. No, absolutely, I agree with it, and I love the fact, like you said, Yager playing for his own team. He owns a team now. He's like, I'll just play hockey with them.
Yeah,
but that's pretty cool.
Whenever he wants to, right?
Pretty cool, my friend. All right, my friend, it is time for predictions. Andy gained a spot this week. Little rough across the board. Kenny came in this week as the big winner, 6-1. Kenny is, I think he's been hustling us for many weeks now, and now look at him. He made his move. But again, 4-4 last week for me, 5-3 for you. James remains at 500, 11-11. So if he's still on too, let's get some picks. If you're joining us live, all you got to do is pick the games as we call them. And then we can make sure that we get you on this list for next week. But Ron, you start us off this week in game 1, series 1 here. Boston Red Sox at the New York Yankees. That series starts tonight. Which team can suck more is what we're calling it. But we figured, hey, it's our local rival. We might as well try to get. So which team will suck less, Ron? Who are you picking?
Well, considering how pathetic the Red Sox are, I think the Yankees are going to suck less. But I just want to say the Red Sox absolutely are a horrendous franchise right now. Horrendous. I mean, they can't get anything right. They can't get anything right. They need to change from top to bottom. Alex Cora is god awful. He is awful. Like, this just proves that he can't win unless he cheats.
Okay.
He can't win unless he cheats.
So you went New York.
I went New York.
All right. Kenny went Boston. I went with Kenny here, and the Yankees, for the first time since 1995, are under 500. They are just atrocious.
But the Sox came. They lose to Washington. They lose to Oakland.
Yankees can't even score a run most games now. Worst hitting team in baseball. I went Boston here. Also starting this weekend is the Seattle Mariners at the Houston Astros. This game is obviously for place in the AL West, and this could be very important. But I went Houston. I just feel, they added Verlander, and it was such a big move for them. And I think Seattle's 5 games out. So I think they gradually continue to raise that. I went Houston.
Yeah, I went Houston too. Look, I think Houston is the best team in the American League. Look, they're on autopilot, and they're still doing what they're doing. They're on autopilot, and when it comes crunch time, this team just seems to know how to do it. And I don't think Seattle can catch them.
All right. Kenny went Mariners. 8:20, Ron. You got the WNBA action. Dallas Wings at the Washington Mystic. That's on August 20th.
Yeah, I'm going to go Washington Mystics here. Look, I think the home team really means something in basketball, and because you get that momentum swing and the crowd behind you, and I think when you add it all up, I think that's going to be at least 3 4 point swing in your favor, and I'm going to give it to the Mystics.
I don't know what Kenny put up there. He tried to put an emoji and it didn't come through. So Kenny, I might need the team. But I went. Yeah, it's just blank. I went Dallas here. I went to Wings. Wings. Go on the road and get it done. Kenny, just let us know who you pick.
Well, if they have Paul, then they should
Wings.
do okay, right?
I can't with you. 8:24. You got the New York Liberty at the Connecticut Sun. Both of these teams are top 3 teams in the league. Liberty 2 out of 3 beat Las Vegas in the last week. I'm going New York here. I think they are on a high.
Yeah, I'm going New York as well. I think that roster is starting to really come along now.
Inescu, like just tearing it from 3. You're starting to see some good stuff out of there from Stewart. So yeah, they're coming together now. It took a little bit, but all right. Kenny went Sun. All right. Tomorrow night, 8/19. I never changed the date on that one. The New England Patriots at the Green Bay Packers preseason action. Who do you got?
Are any starters playing for the Patriots?
I think so. This is game 2. They got to be. They probably won't start anybody next game.
So I'll go with New England.
Going New England. I'm going Packers here because I have more faith in Jordan Love than I do Mac Jones. As crazy as it sounds, I went Packers here. I went Packers. Kenny went Pats. We got MLS action. The Columbus Crew versus Football Club Cincinnati. That's on 8:20. Ron.
Yeah. Oh boy. I'm gonna go Columbus.
I went Columbus as well. I had to get off the Miami thing for a little bit. You know what I mean? Messi's just destroying that league.
Oh my God! What does he have? Like 9
goals in 4 games.
Yeah.
He's just it's way too easy.
Making a mockery out of MLS.
I was actually talking to Brian about that the other day, and I told him, I said, look, it's like taking a high school kid, right, and trying to make like a pro guy and put him back in high school.
Yeah.
Kenny's picking Miami, even though they're not an option. So I like that. He's on shot number 8. He has to be.
See, Miami's so good now with Messi. They're going to win games without even playing.
That's it. Columbus Crew versus the Football Club Cincinnati, Kenny. It's either Columbus or Cincinnati. I love him. Kenny, you are the man, my friend. You are the man. Listen to the kids out there. They love themselves some Kenny, the big dog. I think he probably passed out. All right.
Sin City.
Look at that. I like it.
So wait, is that Vegas? Is he now picking Vegas to win?
I guess. I don't know. At 8:20, we got our race in here. We did not have a top 5 finish again last week. Go bowling at the Glen. So Glenn Watkins race, Ron. I went Chase Elliott here as my top 5 driver.
Yeah, I'm going Harvick.
Kevin Harvick. All right.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's like you gotta go with those classic kind of races in this one at the Glen, right?
At the Glen.
Yeah. So I went with Harvick. That's a good classic kind of.
I was going there, but I thought it was a bowling event, so I got a little confused.
Well, yeah, that's like go bowling at the Glen. I was a little confused what you were asking us for. So.
Gonna call my buddy Glenn. We were going bowling. I don't know, but it got weird. Also 8:20 got World Cup final, Women's World Cup final, Spain versus England. Ron, what do you got?
Yeah, and it's amazing too because it's like you're looking at these two countries, and they're like, "Oh my God, I can't believe we're here. We have a shot at winning this." And now one of these teams get to say, "Okay, USA isn't there, so we got this, right?" So I'm going to go England, and they're going to be boasting about this for a long time to come. And, I think, they're going to be like, "Oh, the, the torch has been passed. We now will be the standard,
It could
for
be.
the next 2 decades."
Could be. Could be. Get your tea and crumpets ready, my friend, because England is going to be celebrating. I agree with you. I went England. Kenny went
You're right.
Spain. Yeah. I was going to do the only thing I do Skittles, in Spain.
Skittles? Are you talking
Skittles,
about the candy Skittles?
Skittles. But get your tea and get ready, England. You're going to be celebrating Women's World Cup finals. Kenny thinks Spain. So we'll see who's right. Those are our predictions for this week.
Yeah.
We will update it next Friday. Ron, before we move on to our final segment of the show, which is our final thoughts, can you tell all the wonderful people out there who want to sponsor our great podcast how they can do so and give us some support?
Why, certainly, Eric. It's so simple. All you have to do is send us an email at ribroadcasting.media@gmail.com. We can send you out all the information, but it's very, very simple. It costs less. It costs less than a slime liquor at Candy for Pennies. Those things are really expensive.
I'm a little concerned what a slime liquor is. I don't want to know.
It's like this candy slime, and it's like like the roll-on deodorant
Oh,
thing.
yeah.
But you kind of lick it, and
Ron, don't do that motion on camera again. All right, so
but yeah, so it's that simple.
Okay,
So
check it out.
If you want to, post up some sponsorship money for for our dirt bag of the
Dirt
week,
bag of the week.
Maybe
maybe you're a cleaning company.
Mulch company.
Cleaning company. You might have a cleaning company, right? Mary J's, cleaning company,
a vacuum company,
right? Come on, let's get out there because they suck. I love it. Listen, you have so many different ways and opportunities to follow Sports Unfolded and Rhode Island Broadcasting. It's been posting all night.
It goes on all the social media, everything. It's all out there.
Everything. And now on Kick. So excited about that. Another platform for us to continue to grow our brand.
Absolutely.
So check that out. Follow us on all our social media platforms. So many different ways to follow us. We are growing every single day and look forward to having a sponsor this year. Ron, it is final thoughts time, and you are first this week, my friend. So enjoy yourself. Yeah, you, my friend, all you.
Okay, so I am. I could have gone so many different ways with this. I could have been the angry guy, because I really am disappointed in everything that the Red Sox do. Disappointed in a lot of the things that the Celtics do. And I'm disappointed in a lot of things that the Patriots do. But
yes,
I'm going to do it for the
Kenny.
Bruins. I'm going to do it for the Bruins.
All right.
I'm going to put a positive spin on the Bergeron, Krejci, Taylor Hall, Nick Foligno, etc., that have gone out the building, right? Now, they're not supposed to be very good anymore, right? I am on the opinion that, I think they're going to be okay. Because I know they have a couple of guys down in the minors that have some talent. And that is McCullough and, of course, Beecher. They both play center. I think that those two guys, one of them is going to step up. And I think one of them is going to make an impact on the season. And I got Zaka doing an all-star type season. He's going to be centering Pasternak. You just get in front of the net. Or just give it to Pasta. You're going to get points, right? Look, I think they're going to be okay. They still have the goaltending. they still have the defense. Okay. Yes, they lost a lot up the middle, but I think they're going to be okay. I think they got a couple of guys that are ready to take that next step. You got Lysell. You got a bunch of other guys that are ready to take that step. And look, no, they might not do 65 wins again,
Over under 65, go under.
but but I'm still going to have them making the playoffs.
Okay. All right. All right. Captain Positive today. We'll take it. We'll take it. All right. As usual, I have a couple, but I will say, first off, Ron, I have been watching a series on Netflix now called Untold. I don't know if you've seen it. Some great stories on there. I would highly recommend it. Last episode that just came out was a look at the Belco era in sports. And it's just Victor Conti and all that whole scenario and a lot of, listen, there's a lot of information out there that's kind of crazy to think about.
Yeah.
I would definitely recommend watching it. It gives you like this whole different thought process of why they were doing it and why it happened. And when you talk about egos in sports and why they push it to the limit, you start to hear them. Look, the ride is so much better when you're winning that unfortunately you don't think about the consequences if you get caught. So it's a great series. They had one about Johnny Football, Johnny Manziel as well this season. And again, very interesting to watch. I would definitely recommend that series. And I did want to just give our condolences to Hawaii and that tragedy out there with those wildfires and the lives lost. Listen, it's a shame. And there's a lot of people to blame or want to put blame on. But right now it's time to try to get them to heal, find anybody that's out there that may still need help before you start looking at lawsuits and everything else that people want to do. Let's get right and find all these people that need and get these families back together. And then we can worry about everything else. But tragedy, over 100+ lives lost there in Hawaii. Just a shame. Beautiful islands. And, we hope for the best that things turn out where we get some positive stories that come out of it. Some positive stories. That's my final thoughts. Ron, it has been fun tonight. Kenny, I want to thank you for joining us live, even though you were 7 deep during most of it. Look forward to continuing to grow here on Sports Unfolded. Again, our social media platforms have been scrolling across that ticker the whole time. So many ways to follow us. We are on S3E33. That's Public Access Channel 12 in Southeast Connecticut as well. So you have opportunity to watch us on Tuesday nights at 10 p.m. If you like what you see and you're watching us now, check us out live Fridays at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Every single week, we are live. We are fan interactive, and we have so much fun. Ron, I want to thank you again for a great night. I hope you have a blast over there with all those kids.
Yeah, I'm about to get rid of some more Christmas cards.
All right, be nice. And I will say, all we ever ask for every single show is peace on earth.
Have a good night, everybody.